All right, everyone, we're going to look at BBAI stock today. And most of the time, I prefer to look at stocks that I know almost nothing about. Occasionally, I'll revisit ones or talk about ones that I already know. But this one is one that I know almost nothing about. So we will do the kind of standard where I will look at what the company is, what the latest earnings was, what the current valuation is, and maybe kind of other things to consider that don't always get caught in the numbers. So yeah, there you go. We'll look at what this company is, BBAI, because I don't even know. Specialized provider in AI technology, provides decision intelligence solutions for supply chains and logistics. And then a few other things. Okay, so I'm going to view this is a AI play. AI solutions for supply chains, logistics, and other things. So, okay, we'll look at the latest earnings, which was released beginning of May. And we can see right here that year over year, the revenues have been flat, if not down a little bit, but the cost of revenues actually decreased, giving it a better gross margin. And then you can see the selling G&A increased, and the research and development increased to the point where you have a small operating, a growth of a growth in the operating loss, just a small one. I want to see if there's any other things worth noting in here. Looks like they have some derivatives, some fair value derivatives that they have here, but you ultimately are looking at a net loss of 56, there it is in thousands, 56 million. Okay, so then this company clearly is newer. It's kind of in its growth phase, probably has some sort of, forward-looking contracts or guidance or backlog that we're going to want to look for. But before we do that, I just want to check the balance sheet here. Let's see if there is anything that stands out. So 100 million in cash. How much debt do they have? And no debt, no long-term debt. They have some debt they're going to have to pay off here, it looks like, but after that, no long-term debt. Which puts them at a pretty, and then yeah, look at this, available for sale investments. That's a different way of listing this. They usually call it marketable securities. But strong cash position. In fact, it's strong enough that they have cash burn for a while, and we can just check the cash flow here real quick. Operating activities are burning 18 million in cash every quarter, so they have a healthy cash runway. And then I want to see. Oh, look at this! No dilution. So that's nice. That's nice to see. They don't need to dilute probably for a while. So okay, so I'm looking at one. This looks like it's just a smaller, or I shouldn't use the word smaller. It's a company that's growing still, and that's kind of what you're buying. So we'll and I want to actually look at that before I look at the valuation, because I don't think I'll be able to understand what it's being valued at just by looking at the historical data. So what is the how about this? How many contracts backlogged sales does BBI have? Trying to understand revenue growth potential. All right, current backlog 281 million, so that is good to see. Growth driver included a sole source national security contract. So these guys are working with the government then. think about already rewarded work that will convert into future revenue over time. So not just potential pipeline. This is, guaranteed future revenue. Does not consistently disclose a clean number of active contracts. Instead, they only report the total backlog and then any wins. Okay, so multiple federal programs and task orders typically across all these guys. Okay, the revenue guidance is 135 million of 165 million, which is big growth for them because right now you're looking at 34, 35 million for this quarter. And then, okay, steady government contract conversion potential. But I'm going to look at this. Backlog is 282 million and then growing. Okay, supports continued revenue stability, but not explosive near-term growth unless new large awards accelerate, which is why I was asking for that. Contracts or awards. So then that's the big way to look at this. When you're valuing this company, you should remember they got a backlog of almost 300 million. And then the kind of the space that they're in, with the government. So we will now look at the valuation. And I want to go here. So you're looking at, as of today, a market cap of 2 billion. Which isn't terrible if you're looking at, again, 300 million in sales. Now, they're still getting a lot of that eaten up, so they need to keep growing. They need to keep growing that backlog. And that's definitely something you want to watch for this is keep that backlog growing, keep those awards, grants, whatever. That's kind of my interpretation of this, is that that's really the metric that you're looking for. Shares outstanding isn't terrible. 500 million about is not. I love the lower this number is, the better, because then the easier it is to move the stock. But 500 million isn't terrible, and on top of that, it doesn't look like they're going to be diluting anytime soon. So that's good. This price to sales ratio, I wouldn't consider Snap or even Path competitors to this stock. I don't think they're in the same industry. And then I want to see if there's anything else here that stands out. Not really. So, okay, so this is kind of interesting. I don't think that. I think what this company really depends on is really, again, about that sales backlog. I want to check a couple other things here real quick. Our institutions buying BBI stock. Okay. 30 to 40% of the float, that's healthy. So mixed picture. Just give me the net. What is the net activity? Okay, so net buying then. By quite a bit. Quite a bit of net buying from the institutions. So again, this is where, and it's partly because of the sector this guy's in. And if you're a part of the government, this is in the AI, and so Wall Street is obsessed with AI, and I think rightfully so. I think that maybe sometimes people get ahead of themselves in what AI can do. But I think it's definitely the future, and I think that's where things are going. And so Wall Street's obsessed with anything AI, so that makes sense. The institutions are buying into this. I want to check. I don't think the ROCE is going to be super helpful because I don't think this is a CapEx heavy company. But let's look at what does the free cash flow growth look like. And I want to check. We already looked at the backlog, kind of forward-looking guidance. Okay, so this is showing it's decreasing. That's not necessarily bad. It's just that it's growing. And this is going over the past several years. I think what really matters are the past couple of years. And yeah, again, this is all about the backlog. So, I guess we should focus on that. What potential contracts or catalysts could the stock have in 2026? This is all going to be about government contracts, defense stuff. Okay, yeah, look at this. This is the first thing I should have asked. BYU was selected for a U.S. Air Force contract vehicle up to $900 million. Yeah, look at that. So that's big. Um, that's a big deal. Intelligence, national security. So national security contracts. We already looked at the backlog conversion. Structural defense AI. So these are kind of these government contracts are really what you're looking for. So I think this one's really interesting, and it's because it's I don't know. I like to try to give you guys a fair variety of what I would consider value stocks, AI speculation slash forward looking, hot macro sector stocks, and micro stocks or known stocks, some blue chips. I kind of like to give a whole bunch of different things for you guys to look at. And I really wanted to try to get a couple of more AI type stocks for you guys to look at and see. So that's why I thought this one could be interesting from kind of what I understood about it. So if you've been following this for a while, and there's something I missed or didn't think of, please let me know. I'm not an expert, nor do I pretend to be. And I'm mainly here to learn and to be on this journey of discovery. So let me know what what else could be considered with this, and I'll see you guys in the next